Welcome to another live stream. I am Keith. This is Life Journey Production Studios, and I have a hidden camera. So, not even sure I'm going to use that tonight. I tell you what, it is a blast to be live. It's even more fun when you're on one leg. I am a one-legged live streamer. Yep, you heard it here. I am a one-legged live streamer. We are recording. I've had an issue with my extreme ISO number 1. It has been stopping recording. Doesn't matter if I do ISO recording or I do just the main program out recording, but you guys can let me know when this stops recording tonight and maybe keep an eye on that for me tonight. So again, we have added some new gear to the studio. As you guys can see here, I'll just put the sky cam back on the air here, and we'll increase the size of this just so you guys can see what is on my desk. So what I did, excuse me for this right here. How do you do this? Turn this finger that way. There we go. This thing right there. That is the EarMix 16M from PreSonus. This is used from reverb.com. This is not a sponsored video. I purchased this with my own money, but it is used. But most of everything that was supposed to be in the box is in here. There is one thing missing, even though I was told it was brand new. But brand new doesn't necessarily mean that all the pieces are there, because the guy that had this was a backup, and I'll share with you in a little bit when we unbox this what's missing. I also have a INEAR 16 mounting kit that we're going to get out tonight. So I hope you guys will stay tuned for that. And then behind me, I have all of my, not all of my sound gear. I have 2 of my 12-inch monitors. They are Yamaha powered monitors. So they are going to be the mains tonight. I didn't have room to bring in more monitors, and I'll share with you later why. So we're going to be covering that. I also purchased another right there over my shoulder right there, another 16.8. That's 16 inputs, 8 outputs, snake. So that makes 16 there, and then 16 right there. How can I do this right there? And so I will use my Skycam and let you guys see that stuff here in a little bit. So we're going to talk about my setup, and the biggest focus tonight is going to be the INEAR Mix 16M, which is a 16-channel digital mixer that you can network, and you can do, I believe, up to 5 of those by just daisy chaining them. We're going to test daisy chaining too. That's right. I already have one that came earlier this week that was in good condition, came without a power cord. So I ordered a power cord. It arrived in the mail today. So it is all plugged in on the desk right there. But we're going to unbox the other one. We're going to hook it up. We're going to see if it works live. We're going to get the power supply out of the box. I'll share with you the one thing that's missing in the box. I did already peek inside of it just to make sure that all the pieces were going to be there so that we could actually demo that tonight. So I have 2 of these new PreSonus in-ear monitors. It's called the EarMix 16M. They've been out for over 5 years. I just started using PreSonus gear again. Earlier last year, I purchased the 32SC PreSonus mixing console. 32 channels, 16 outputs as far as being able to do mixes. Lots of features on that board. It's in the studio tonight. We're going to talk about that. It also can be remotely controlled from an iPad, and I have my wife's iPad here tonight, and I'm going to have that opened up tonight. We are going to test the in-ear mix tonight, even though I won't be able to play it for you guys live. I am going to be able to show you with my remote phone. I'm going to be able to show you that, be able to show you the levels, and we're going to use the mic coming out of the console, and we're going to use the mic coming out of my digital snake. And again, if you don't know what a digital snake is, you could actually set that digital box up on the platform, just run a cat cable to it, or if you want to go even nicer, you can go with one of these cables, which I unboxed tonight. It's the EtherCon. This is a 30-footer, and I'm using that tonight. Didn't want to have to do all this unboxing. This is just a 30-foot EtherCon cable, which just is a really high-end locking cat cable, basically. Let's see what it says on here about it. It says it's an RG45 Cat 6. So again, quality cable. It's heavy duty. You can lay it out on the ground and just go from the board up to the stage. And I have a 250 footers. I have a junction. I have a 30-footer now, so I can go to the other side of the stage. We're planning on having a 24-foot wide stage. So I'm going to go from the back right to the back left, and that way we can use those two stage boxes now. The INEAR system, which we're going to talk about tonight, is so that I can also send the signal from my board through that same Cat 6 cable up to the stage and use those in-ear mixes. I'm also going to buy a network switch that PreSonus makes. I'll show you guys that here tonight on the website. And that will then provide power. So I won't have to use the power supplies on the in-ear mixes. I need to get at least 3 more for the stage. That's why I've been buying them used. Hopefully they'll all work and won't fail on me. I'll probably end up with 6 just so I have a backup. And who knows, my backup may be brand new. We'll see. So that it will always work if I have one go out on me. So thank you so much for joining me. Let's say hi to some folks in the chat tonight. Let's see. Let's get the chat up here on the air. Turn this off. And let's see. Let's go up here. Let's play fair here. Who was here first? Get the right mouse here. It's been a busy night getting ready. It looks like Grish was first. So let's put chat on the air and see if we can't. There we go. Grish says, hello, all. I'm not into sound, but will still be listening and tuning in. Well, thanks, Grish, for your honesty. Sound has to do with live streaming or anytime you're producing videos. So hopefully if you have a YouTube channel, and I don't know exactly as far as your YouTube channel, Grish, but it's great to have you tonight. And hopefully I will pique your interest in live sound. Thanks for coming in tonight, Tony. I appreciate it very much. Hank, thank you for being here tonight. Stop and think. Hey, checking in from the warm and sunny Bluffton, South Carolina to Keith, Tony, and all the live streamers. Yeah, there's a few guys here that live stream. Sounds like a great idea. I'm not sure what that is in response to. It says Hank. So I must have missed something. Good to have you here, Tim, from Melbourne, Australia. It's great to have you. We'll see if David pops in as well. Oh, there he is. Juris Design, Gary, it's great to have you. Hi to you. Hi. He says hi to everyone else. Here we go. Before we kick the bucket, we have our special guest from down under, my RV buddy, because Shannon and I are talking about getting an RV. That's David Osler from Australia. Okay, we'll stop here and stop and think. Keith, define an audio interface. I have the Rodecaster Pro. Does that qualify? Yes. An audio interface would be something that you could plug into your laptop and exchange files back and forth and possibly do some live streaming. So there also are some self-reliant devices that would be like recorders, but they're not interfaces. So I'm going to stick with audio interface, which would be something that you could hook up a USB cable to and use your Mac or your PC, your laptop, or whatever it might be, to transfer audio back and forth. And in reality, like if you use things like Pro Tools or Adobe Premiere or Final Cut or DaVinci Resolve, you could actually bring audio directly from those interfaces into those devices. So let's say you had some B-roll and you wanted to do some voiceover using your Rodecaster Pro. You could Rodecaster Pro directly into DaVinci Resolve and record the voiceover. That's true with Pro Tools. That's true with Adobe Audition. That's true with PreSonus Studio One. Their software, obviously, there's Mac software specific. There's software for both Mac and PC. But an audio interface is what you typically are going to use these days if you are doing any recording, or if you're live streaming and want to bring more than one microphone in. That's what the Rodecaster Pros are all about. There's also the Zoom products. Technically, your ATEM Mini is a audio interface because it can send audio directly from the two mic inputs into your PC or your Macintosh. So technically, an ATEM Mini is an audio interface as well, even though it's video and audio. The new Rodecaster Video is video and audio. All the ATEMs are. The new G2, the new ATEM Extreme ISO version 2 that Blackmagic just came out with, that should be shipping in June. Retails now for about $2,200 in the USA because of the T word. But in reality, that has two XLR inputs. It also has MADI input now. So you could bring in multiple channels of audio now into that Generation 2 ATEM Extreme ISO. So if you haven't seen that, go over to Blackmagic Design site or go back a couple weeks and watch my video where I cover that new G2 Generation 2 version of the ATEM Extreme ISO, as well as the new HyperDeck Shuttle HD Pro, I believe it's called, or 4K Pro, that's combined a monitor and a shuttle to be a new shuttle. See, HyperDeck Shuttle HD Pro or 4K Pro. Anyway, check that out. That video is a few weeks ago. I don't own any of those devices yet, have not pre-ordered those. We'll just see what happens with the expense. Everything's gone up a little bit because of shipping and tariffs and all that stuff. And that's the last time tonight I will say the T word. So thanks for having me tonight, Hank. Hopefully that answers your question. That would be a yes in tonight's poll for you because you have a Rodecaster Pro. If you have an ATEM Mini and you don't have an interface, you can say yes as well. I just want to show you how many of you tonight are working with a interface. So the StudioLive 32SC is just a interface. It's a interface on steroids because it has 32 channels, 16 outputs. And when you get into the bigger rack-mounted or even the desk Blackmagic Design switchers, they have even options for MADI and multiple channels of input in audio. In fact, if you look at that video that we did, they have completely redesigned the audio interface for the new ATEM Extreme ISO G2. So now you're going to have a lot more control. You have a dedicated output that can show you just the audio monitor. So you can have the audio monitor on its own up all the time. You don't have to use it for that because it has 3 HDMI outputs, but you can use one of those as a dedicated monitor and you can see audio, all your audio channels. So not only did they add XLR inputs to that device, they added Thunderbolt so it actually can do key and fill right from DaVinci Resolve. And so you could do some animated graphics from DaVinci Resolve or ProPresenter or H2R graphics. And again, if none of that makes sense to you, I apologize. Those are just computer-based softwares for you to bring in graphics into a live stream, and you do it through the Thunderbolt port, which is the same speed as a USB 5 port, I believe, or 4 port, 20 megabytes a second. I think 20 megabytes a second. And yet the Thunderbolt port is dedicated to do that. They even added buttons on the new device, the G2, to do replay through DaVinci Resolve. And anyway, it's quite interesting. So I did get a question this week about why when you go into, let me just show this. Let me bring this over. I'll address this question because I think it's a great question that came through this week. Get my mouse off the screen. Sorry about that. Let's do this right here. Take chat off the air for a second. Let's see what I want to show you here. Yeah. Let's go into my media player up here. And let's change to me and my desktop. Right up here, you can see the little play icon. I was asked why this play icon is here under the still screen. So you can move stills into these media players 1 and 2. If you only have an ATEM Mini Pro or Mini Pro ISO, you're only going to have 1 media player. But if you have an extreme model, you're going to have 2 media players. And then you can access your stills from right here and load them, or you can load a still up here in the media player. And I was asked this week why there is a grayed out play icon. Sorry about that. I usually have my phone on cover. I have one friend that loves to call me every Tuesday night during my live stream, so I will decline that. I also have my iPad in here. So anyway, I wanted to answer that question because that, let's see, up there, that is available on the upper end models. When you get into some of the new rack mounted models, you can play so many clips. Tony has that 2ME, and you can play a certain amount of frames. And so he will be able to use that in his live stream because he has not only a still image media pool, he also has a media pool that will play so many frames of video. So it depends if you are streaming at 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second. How long those little stingers will last on screen depends on what frame rate you have chosen to stream. And I don't have that to feature. I can't show it to anybody up there. All I can do is choose a still image. So right now I have my logo selected, Life's Journey Lower Thirds. If I was to select something else, let's go to my still image up here. Watch what happens. It will cover the whole screen. There you go. So I can load still images from there. I'll drop my logo back in. I just dropped my logo right here. You can see it shows which ones are live. This has the little red circle, and this background has the red circle. The background is behind both of these boxes right now. That box right there and the box that I'm in right here. The graphic above me and below me and behind me on that side and behind that on that side is that other still image. And you can see right here that it is live on my logo and live right here. So this is a transparent graphic, so it covers everything else up. So if I was to change that to this, it's going to cover the middle of the screen because everything's transparent around that. But if I was to bring over my still image right here and drop it into that box, it's going to cover, it's not transparent, so it's going to cover everything. And then when I bring my logo back over again, my logo then is down in the box on the far right, just below that box. So again, that little area right here, which is one of the things that I was asked on one of my videos this week, this is only available when you get a device that it's available in. I also have all of these inputs grayed out. You can see I have 2 grayed out up here. I have all of these grayed out here. If you were to look at Tony's 2ME software, he has all of these outputs. I think, Tony, let me know in the chat if you're still here, if you have all of these outputs show up when you have your control software open on your 2ME. So, okay. So back to me in the logo. Let's turn chat back on the air and let's finish saying hi here. Grish is from Spokane. Already said hi to Tony. Let's see. Bert, it's great to have you. As from Spooner, Wisconsin, way to go. It's good to have you. Thank you for being a part of the chat. That means you subscribed. I do have subscribe only chat enabled. So if you haven't subscribed and you can't seem to chat, all you have to do is subscribe while I'm live. And within 1 minute, you'll be able to chat and say hi to everybody else and join the conversation. You're welcome to talk back and forth between you. I just have subscribe only set so that we make sure that we don't have any spammers pop in, say something rude in the chat, and then pop out again. They can't do that because they won't be subscribed to my channel. And occasionally you'll get someone that'll subscribe and spam the chat as well. And then I can just go in and delete that chat. But this keeps it a one-man show, and I don't have to worry about all the spamming that comes in. So Grish, audio 100%. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, so Tony says I'm doing a lot of audio work as of late. Yeah, I am. Let's just leave that up there for a second. The story behind that is I volunteered to help a buddy with this tent. And so basically the tent goes to different cities. A group of churches host an event. We host the tent, so we set it up and we take it down. And the sound companies were so expensive around that area. A lot of these churches don't have the budget to do that. So we said, well, I know how to do sound. I'll stop volunteering to do sound. I charge a little bit of rent on my equipment to cover the cost to continue adding to it. So hopefully I can get enough income, even though I'm semi-volunteering. So I'm definitely not charging the $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 that everybody else charges to do a 5 or 6 day long event. So I'm just doing it. And so I've been wanting to get back into audio. I wanted to add it to my channel because I think audio is so important to video. And I didn't want to just be talking about HybridX and ATEMs and live streaming tech because you also have to concern yourself with audio when you're dealing with video. So in reality, I don't need 32 channels to do a live stream unless I was going to live stream at a church. And churches do use consoles. And I do have clients that reach out to me that have churches. They asked me to recommend a console. So I did all my research and I felt like the StudioLive consoles are very affordable. They are feature packed. They have the ability to have lots of auxes. So if they need to send something to an aux to their live stream room to mix it and send it up to the cloud, if they need to have a nursery mix, if they need to have a lobby mix, if they need to have an overflow room mix, they can do that and still have all of the other auxes available to do monitor mixes on the stage or use in-ear monitors. So that's why, Tony, I've been doing a lot more live streaming on the StudioLive console. Now, if you look at my channel, I only maybe have 5 total videos that deal with the PreSonus gear, my unboxing videos. I did a couple lives on it. So I'm not going to do a lot of videos on this product, but I am going to sprinkle some videos in as I add new equipment because I couldn't even find a unboxing video on the EarMix. There was one guy I found on YouTube that took things out of the box off of his lap, but I'm actually going to open this up and I'll show you the one thing that's missing from the box when we get to that. We're going to get there here in just a minute. Let's see who else is here in the chat I haven't said hi to. Yeah, the SSL12 solid state logic is a great audio interface. That's something I looked at. I've also had a Focusrite 8-channel interface in my studio, 8-channel, 4-channel interface in my studio. Back when I had my recording studio, that was back in the early 2s. We're in the 2025 now, so mid 2s. I opened my studio in 2000 and I believe 9. So anyway, yeah, the T word, keep it friendly. Absolutely. Good to have you, Chio Walker. Glad you're going to watch the video later. Make sure I said hi to everybody now that's in the chat. There is a vote for PreSonus gear from Down Under. And let's see. I think I have said hi to everyone. Okay, so let's see if my camera is working here. Let's see. Is it this one? Nope. Is it this one? Turn chat off the air. Yeah, let's see. Is one of these working? Yeah, that'll work, I think. Okay, now let's see if my buttons are working tonight. I did not. There's so much work getting all this gear in my studio. Oh, let me turn this off. Sorry about that. Let's see. Me and my remote cam. Well, that didn't work. Let me change the input on that. Super source. Input number 2 needs to be extreme. That's not routed. Let's do some routing here real quick. Should have checked this before we went live. Those macros default back to way my ATEM Extreme ISO number 2 was set. So I need to go to output number 2 and I need to make it my, let's see, I need to make that. Okay, what is going on here? It needs to be, oh, okay, I don't need to change that. Open back up my Extreme ISO number 2. And box number 2 should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Sorry about that. I'm going to change the microphones here. I'm now on my lapel microphone. We'll move this out of the way. I'm facing the wrong direction. I don't like that. So let's switch this up here real quick. Let's move box 2 over there, and let's move box 1 over here. Much better. That looks more realistic. So you guys should still be hearing me 5x5. It's a little hot, so let me turn that down a little bit. So the one thing that was missing in this box, for those of you that are watching, and again, this is the Presonus EarMix 16M. It's got a picture of that device on the front. Back here, it just has more information. All of this information on the back, all about the INEAR mix. On the side of the box, you have another picture. On the bottom of the box, you have that. On the other side, you have that. And I think I've pretty well covered all of the box. And do that one more time so that everybody that's watching. So this was sent to me. I had to pull all the tape off of it. I had to pull the label off of it. That's why there's so much stuff on the box. But I got this from reverb.com. And in reality, reverb.com sells used gear. I also bought this brand new through Amazon. And this is the attachment. You can attach this to the top of a microphone stand or hook it onto a microphone stand that's being used as a boom mic. So that works. You could use it on one that isn't a boom mic, but has both attachments in, but we're going to unbox this first. And so what was missing from this is the cat cable. It does come with a cat cable. So I'm going to open this up and tilt it up. So it comes in. This is actually the container that the cat cable comes in. Paperwork comes like this. The cat cable is also in here. So you have the manual and some feet to put on the bottom of it. And we'll get this out here and open it up. Get this box so it stays up. Okay, that should stay up. I'm gonna weight that with that. So inside this is, again, you have these little feet that just stick on the bottom, peel them off and put them on the bottom of the device. Then you have the paperwork, and it folds out and tells you how to hook things up and each of the steps. So that's nice to have that. And then you have this serial number and more warning paperwork right here in different languages. Then inside this box, you have the power cord, power cable, and it comes just like this. It's got the American end on it. I don't know if this was put on by the guy that had it. Again, it was his backup device. He never used it. So it was listed as new. And then you have all the other country ends that you can snap on as well. So we'll set those aside. We're going to need that power cord, so we're going to keep it out. Reorganize that. So open this up. So it's pretty long. We'll switch back. If I switch cameras, I'll lose. I think I can do it like this. Let me go camera 1. So it's a pretty long cord. So almost my entire wingspan. Go back to super source. Put this box back. So we'll set this aside, the power cord. And we'll get the INEAR mix out. It's got a little cardboard piece right here. He put some extra bubble pack in it because he was shipping it. So I took the bubble pack out that was on the top. I don't know that you were supposed to really ship this in that box, but again, we're going to throw that away and leave that in, leave that in, leave that in. That's it in the box. So I will get that out here in a second. Get the box out of our way. Bring this over here and pull it out. Still got the little warning label that tells you not to remove this. This is the networking deal. It says remove this entire label. On the back of it, you have the back. So we're going to pull this label off. Tells you about registration and all of that. And the bottom part of it is loose, so you can grab it. And so I'm going to pull that off. And then there you have the AVB, which is the technology used by PreSonus, the communication protocol. And so you have an AVB through and your AVB in. There's your power in, your power button. You have an auxiliary in, so you could play music or a click track. You have a line out, so you could actually use this to mix your own monitors on the stage. And then you have your headphone in. So again, you could have a click track, so you don't have to take up a track on your console, so the drummer could use his own click. Or let's say a guitar player on break could have music playing through this, through his iPhone, whatever. And also you could use this for like stereo pads on the stage if you were putting it on monitors. Lots of different things you could use it for. 2 line outs is really cool, and I'll talk about why I think that's really cool. And then the headphone in. And then you have all of this information back here. You can see there's vents coming through right here to vent it. And you can see the shape of it, shaped very similar to the consoles. So thinner on the bottom. So it's got like a profile. So you can set this on your desk and use this. You can set this on a music stand, but you also can use the mount. The mount does not come with it. So again, I did not receive the cat cable with it, but I can tell you it looked to be about a 15-foot yellow Cat 6 cable that normally comes in it. And again, there was that little package right here. Oh, well, I don't know what I did with it. I might have already thrown it away. So on the side, you can see the shape. I already showed you the back. There's vents here, so you can pull air through there and out here. So that gives you airflow. And then on the front of this, you can see you have 16 channels and you have touch buttons. This is just a place to write on. This is not an LCD screen. This is just a place to write on it. I will be doing printed out strips for what's on the stage. Then you have the 16 channels. You have 2 lights, one saying you have a signal and one for peak. So green and red for every channel. Then on this side, you have the ability to store presets. You can store 16 presets and you can also recall them. So you can store them, recall them. You can also group channels. So let's say you had a great mix of the vocalists on the stage. You have them balanced and now you want to group them. So you can just raise and lower the volume with one channel. So let's say the vocalists were on 5, 6, and 7. Then you would be able to group 5, 6, and 7. And then you could just click on any one of these 5, 6, or 7 and you could raise the volume. So then next to here, every button you push, you can link it. So you can link these channels. So you can only link them in order. So 1 and 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. So you can link them. So if you wanted to just have, if you had like 3 stereo keyboards on your stage, then you could just do a mix and send a stereo link to the in-ears, and then they would have volume control of all of the keyboards, but not an individual keyboard. That's going to save you 2 other channels, stereo channels, which would be 8 more or 4 more channels. So I'll talk a little bit more about that. So you can link them, you can solo them, you can mute them. Once you click on a channel, you control it right from here. So you have a bass EQ level, treble EQ level, a sweepable mid EQ, so you can pick a frequency in the mid and you can boost it or attenuate it, take it down. You have the ability to pan right and left. So you can separate your mono mix a little bit in your in-ears. And then you have the pan will automatically pan right and left when you stereo it. So if I link channel 1 and 2 with the link button, then what'll happen is 1 will be stereoed left. It'll be lit up on here because there's an LED dot going left and an LED dot going right. Channel 2 then would be lit up right. So it automatically pans when you select a channel. So you have a limiter, and again, the pan knob and then the volume knob. And then over here gives you the ability to control your aux input. That's that 3.5 jack on the back. So you could raise or lower your click track. You could mono it. You can select it. I can also send out a master right and left. That's these 2 right here. So I can adjust that master volume. And then here is my headphone preamp. And that headphone preamp has plenty of dB, even for people that are losing their hearing. So that's unboxing this. So again, we've gone all the way around it. Again, you have the global settings. That's again for storing and recalling. And when you hit the recall button, they'll all flash. When you hit the store button, they'll all flash, so you can choose which one you want to store to. So that means you could have one bass player on Sunday morning, another bass player on Sunday night, and then you can assign preset 1 to the bass player in the morning, preset 2 to the bass player at night. So they have their particular mix the way they like it, and then they will be able to adjust it. So again, you can plug your headphones in, your in-ears into that, or you could just be powering some stage speakers, and you could give the drummer control over his mono monitor. And so again, or stereo if they had 2. So again, that's really cool. What I like about this personally is that we're going to have a side tent. And what I want to do is put an 8.8 stage box over there. That way they can plug a microphone in. Then I'll assign that microphone to this in-ear mix through one of the channels, and they'll be able to raise and lower the volume of that microphone inside that other room. I'm also gonna plug the right and left speakers they have in there, powered speakers in this as well. And so this will be their soundboard. So if they walk in there and they need more projector volume, they'll be able to just choose that channel. And then they want to bring up the house speakers, they'll be able to choose that channel. So I can assign that and make this its separate console in the other room. So this could turn into a console, like in a vocal booth. You could assign everything there. Let's say you're doing a vocalist in a booth. You got a lead guitar player and a bass player inside your control room. You got the drummer inside the recording studio. You could assign all of those auxiliaries into an in-ear mix inside the booth, and then that artist could adjust it up and down. You could even send them a dry signal and then an affected signal. So they could bring up or down their own reverb or delay through another channel. There's a lot of things that you'll be able to do with these. I'm planning on using these mostly as stage controls, but one of these is going to end up in our second tent so that people could just simply go in there, turn it on, choose the main microphone channel and turn that channel up, and then they'll be able to bring the mains up and down with one volume, and we'll make this as least complicated as possible for that room, or we'll eventually put a regular soundboard in there or interface. So, okay, let's set this aside. We are going to go ahead and unbox this. So let's go back to Super Source here. Here we go. And let's bring this camera in a little bit. Okay, and let's unbox this. There's no tape, so I'm just gonna unbox this. You open this up. Well, here's the front. It shows you the pieces that come with it, and how you can mount it this way, or you can mount it that way. It shows you both ways. Shows you how you can mount it underneath the 16M EarMix. And then on this side, it tells you what's in the box. Got this delivery tag, PreSonus, their logo right here. Nothing there, nothing here. That's it with the box. This retailed for about $69. I have another one in the mail coming. And so here's the one part, and here's the other part. So that's it in the box. And so this is the piece that can attach to the bottom of the in-ear mix. What is going on here? Did you guys miss that whole thing? Let's do it again just in case I mixed it. So basically, it's in the box like this. Like that. So this piece and this piece. Here's a look at the box if I didn't get that on the air. And PreSonus's logo right there. And there you go. Shows you all the parts that are in it and how it attaches. Nothing on that side, nothing on that side, and then just this barcode on the back. So here's the part. So this hooks onto the bottom of the in-ear mix. These screws are magnetically attached, which I love. The same thing with my iPad mount on the back of my PreSonus 32SC. So you just screw these in. There's a little bracket here that latches in right here. So I'm going to latch that in. Screw these down. So I can attach this right onto the top of a music stand by taking this part out, or you can attach this piece and hook it onto a stand. So we're going to take this out. So I think this comes out. This goes in. And now you have a clamp to go on a microphone stand. Put this back in. I didn't need to take this off. That is for being able to connect it to a mic stand. So it's got this adapter, screws on the top. So that would be if you took off the microphone holder and screwed that on. But this is how I will mount it onto a mic stand right here. Bring this camera back out again. So you'd hook this right onto a microphone stand right there. I've got one. So let's say they're up on the stage. There we go. And then I can adjust it with the knob on the back, up and down. Like that. There we go. Put that on camera. So now it is mounted. Or you could pull this piece off, the boom arm, and hook it with this bracket right on top of the microphone stand, and you'd be able to pivot it again by using that same handle. So, okay, we're gonna take this and twirl it around here. Oh, let's see. That's exactly where I needed it, so it doesn't tip this thing over. And you are adding weight to your mic stand, so you're going to want to have some heavy duty mic stands when you do this. So we'll bring this up. We're going to move this back off my desk. Okay, let me change camera angles here. I am going to go full screen right now, and you're just going to see my hands. So let's do that right now. Let's go channel 5. There you go. Should still be on my microphone. So we're going to take the power cord. I want to see this on this monitor to make sure I'm not blocking everything. Okay. Get my head in there. So we're going to plug this in. Power is right over here. Okay. We're going to daisy chain this one off the one I've already hooked up. I have not programmed it or hooked it up yet to the console. But let's do this. I want to go in. I want this one to go into out. Okay. Turn this one on. Okay, so now we're going to go in here. The home button, audio routing. Hope you guys can see that. We're going to go into INEAR mix. Okay, we want to set it up, output source to 41 through 48, which is what my mixes are on. My mix 1 through 15 right here, or I mean actually 1 through, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1 through 8, and then 9 through 16 are channels. And I'm going to do apply to all after I get these set. So we're going to go down to AVB sends, and these are the digital signals. So AVB sends 49 through 56 are assigned to 9 through 16, and AVB sends 41 through 48 are already assigned. And then I can hit apply to all. But right now I've clicked on that one. If I hit this arrow, it flashes, and you can see this one is flashing. So I know that's that one. So I could hit apply to just it, but I'm going to apply to all. Yep, applying to all. So now those mixes have been assigned to that channel. And you can see right now I have a signal coming in. I just had feedback, but I do have a signal coming into channel 1. I'll click on select. You can see the signal right here coming into channel 1. And then if I go to mix 1, which is channel 1 on the in-ear mixes, I can assign channel 1 to that. I'm going to unmute it. And now I've assigned channel 1. You can see it's getting the signal. I can raise that volume to channel 1. I could add a limiter to channel 1. I could add EQ to channel 1. And again, I would have to plug my earphones into that to get it to work. Same with this one right here. You can see it's also getting a signal. So now I have 2 people on the stage getting the signal from mix number 1. And then I could assign mix number 2, the same thing. So if I wanted to give it, let's just pretend that this is another channel. If I wanted to give them this in mix number 2, if I come over here to mix number 2 now, you can see as I talk, we have audio levels. So again, I can assign any channel to any one of these. So that quickly, the in-ear mix is set up. It was that simple. All I have to do is go into the settings in the PreSonus, choose the AVB sends. Again, that's the network channel. So every channel that's available in that network, I can assign it to any microphone. I can assign it to a mix. I just assigned it to my output mixes, and then those mixes were assigned to the in-ears. So it's pretty incredible. I can also assign things to Digital Snake. So basically, what does that mean? That means I can assign channel 16 right here. Channel 16 could be assigned to my digital patch snakes. We're not going to cover that tonight, but I now have the ability to send all of the signals from inside my StudioLive 32 console to those stage boxes, and they can be daisy chained on the stage, but I'm actually going to get a device that can network them. So I can send one cable to the platform and then network them. So if one device fails or powers down, it won't unpower all the other signals going down the chain. So I will literally be using a 5-channel power over Ethernet. Now, it won't power these stage boxes, so they will be independent, but the in-ears will be powered over Ethernet when I get all of this set up. So let's just break here real quick, and let's see. Let me clean up my desk here. Take this stuff off the desk. Get a sip of coffee, cover the logo. Let's go into the chat and see if you all have any questions here. So let's put chat on the air and let's just go through here and see if there's any feedback. So Chris says he's always here, LOL. Let's see, why do I not have chat on? Chris says he's always here. Yeah, my other microphone is a little bit louder. Sorry about that. You turn this up just a little bit. Yeah, it's just really hot. Let me bring it down just a little bit. dB. It is now muted, and I have my main SM7B microphone on. Let me change glasses here so I can see just a little bit better. So what I would really like to do tonight is just kind of talk through the digital console, but let's see if there's any other things in the chat here. The Pel is a little hot. Yeah, thank you. Hey, Joe, it's good to have you tonight in the chat. Thanks for joining us. Doug, it's great to have you as well. We just unboxed a used, said it's brand new, backup unit that someone sold it to reverb.com. They resell it. Actually, I think it's consignment basically on reverb.com. I've actually sold some analog gear on reverb.com before, and I've purchased some gear from reverb.com before. So I purchased that one from a guy who said it was brand new in the box, and he had pictures of it inside the box, and it looks brand new. The box is kind of beat up because he shipped it in the box. So we unboxed a PreSonus INEAR 16 channel. It's called the 16M mixing console. It has a 3.5 input, so you could bring in a click or bring in some other audio if you wanted to while you're standing on the stage or in another building, which would be great for like bringing in a boombox, which I think is going to be a great option when we use it for a side tent. So again, thank you for joining me. Go back and watch tonight's video and you can see me unbox that. And then I also unboxed the in-ear mount, which is specific to PreSonus. It gives you two ways to mount it. You can mount it onto the stand, the mic stand, or a separate mic stand on the side with the clamp, or you can screw it onto the top. So instead of screwing on a microphone holder, you can screw on the inner mix and have it right on top of the stand and move it around the stage. And I've seen a lot of people do that on the stage where all their in-ears are located and they're not attached to their microphone, especially if it's a bass player that isn't playing or isn't singing, then he doesn't need a microphone stand. So you could just use one of your other microphone stands without a boom arm and screw it right on top. And that's what a lot of places do. So go back and check that out. Good to have you, Akil from Germany. Nice stream today. Which of the new Blackmagic design products would you most likely get? I'll probably buy the new HybridX shuttle with a monitor. Yeah, I'm going to buy the new HybridX shuttle for sure. I do videos here on my channel. My second thing that I'm most excited about will be the G2. That's the new Extreme ISO model. I am excited about three things: the XLR inputs, including the MADI, that's one. I'm excited about the third HDMI out and the audio being able to be monitored separately. I really like that idea, especially for some of the venues that I would recommend them be installed in to monitor their audio. That's super, super important. I wish I had a monitor in here I was watching the audio on up here in the corner. So that's for sure something I'm interested in. I love the fact that it has the fader bar on it and has other intuitive controls, and also that you have the ability to bring Thunderbolt in, so you don't have to take up two channels with a HybridX. I could actually use those two channels and use a laptop and bring in Pro Presenter, bring in HDR graphics, key and fill, bring in DaVinci Resolve into my stream. In fact, it's going to be able to ingest and it's going to be able to play back, so you can have video going through that Thunderbolt out of it and back into it. And then I also love the fact that you have the ability to add in memory chips. I believe that's in the shuttle, if I'm correct. So that's what I'm really excited about. Those are the three things. You're fine. You can be off topic. So going back through here, I said this. Great to see everyone. Hope you enjoyed tonight's ride. So I have a poll up. Are you using an audio interface? There are 15 votes and 67% say yes. Remember, an A10 Mini, Pro ISO, Extreme ISO, the desktop models, the 1ME, 2ME, they're all interfaces. They have a USB port that can send audio. I can bring audio from my A10 Mini Pro into a Zoom call. So if I had a microphone on a camera on me, and I wanted to use that, I could use the video in the Zoom call and the audio. That is a audio interface. Now, most audio interfaces send audio both ways, but I'll give you credit for having an A10 Mini, Mini Pro. And in reality, is some of the new cameras that have that USB-C cable, they don't, I don't believe they transfer audio, just video. But I know Canon now, you can bring in 720p through the USB-C port on like the EOS R. And then you could bring that into your Zoom calls. So again, if you have an audio interface like the Scarlett, like a Zoom that can be plugged in, I had an old Rode interface, stereo interface. It was a recorder that could be used as a 2-channel interface. My son just bought a new guitar pedal, and he's going to come on the channel, and I'm going to show you guys that guitar pedal. It's what a lot of the major artists use around the world. It has 8 channels in and 8 channels out as an audio interface. So I could be sitting there with my electric guitar. I could be recording stereo with effects on it. I could record stereo with one side being dry and one side being affected, or put just a single effect on one side of the stereo chain. And then I could also be recording a clean channel into my audio interface out to my computer software like Pro Tools, GarageBand. I could be using Adobe Audition. I could be using DaVinci Resolve, and I could be recording a clean channel. And then you can assign that clean channel back through the amp pedal. So you can use it on your desktop in a studio. You could use it in a live venue. You could program it and then have it all ready. So you just touch a switch and it's got your reverb, touch a switch and it's got your cabinets. All of that's pretty powerful. And I'll be talking about that and show you guys pictures. And we'll have Christopher, my oldest son, here on the channel. That just arrived yesterday. He bought it from Guitar Center used. So anyway, that is an interface. So literally you have these guitar pedals that artists are using now, bass players, electric guitar players, and they have inputs and outputs. So you can actually be an electric guitar player and record everything and then reamp things. You could even send the signal out of your laptop into amplifier and then use another microphone back in to your recording software and re-record that amplifier. So pretty incredible what's available out there. So thank you, Tony, for the super chat. Why is it not getting on the air here? There it is. Sorry, it's not showing up. I don't know what's going on with that key. Let's try to adjust it for the 50th time here. Key number 1. Clip. Yep. Not giving me anything. Not sure what the deal is. So, but thank you so much for that super chat. Tony says, to help offset the in-ear purchase. I appreciate that. So a lot of you guys know that when I join people's live streams, if you're ever on there with me, like Aaron Parecki, I'm one of those guys that are constantly doing super chats. My favorite amount is $4.99. I think I've sent one of those to Tony's. So we're just sending money back and forth now, but I sure appreciate it. Thank you, Tony, so much. I get super chats every so often. It is definitely a way to support the channel. And so you can bring them on air. It should be a green border. I don't know why Aaron Parecki's chat plugin is not working. Let me go over here and see if I have something wrong inside my software right here. No, I have it set in OBS to 1920 by 1080. I don't have no custom settings in here. So I'm not sure why it is not working. Let's click on pre-multiplied and then back off again. Let's see. That's actually coming through 4. Let's fix this. Let's go to 4. This is my key 4. And let's try adjusting the clip, Adjusting the gain. Yeah, it doesn't bring the green background in regardless of what I do. So sorry about that, Tony, but something's a glitch. I'm going to reach out to Aaron Parecki again. It literally shows up in OBS like that without the green background. So not quite sure what is going on. I really don't have any other keying features. If I click pre-multiplied, it doesn't help because it's not a pre-multiplied graphic. So not sure what the problem is there. So chat off the air, chat on the air, and that resets it. But thank you so much, Tony, for that super chat. I appreciate it. Oh, yeah, you know what? I bet it is. Aaron Parecki did, yeah. I don't think Aaron Parecki's plugin has a green background. So I'll have to go into the plugin settings. That is in, let's see, Aaron Parecki. Let me change to this mic. Check, 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 test, check. Okay. I am back on this microphone right here. Aaron Parecki, chat again. Chrome store. So here is the Chrome chat plugin. You just can type in live chat overlay. I believe this is Aaron Parecki's. I don't see his name anywhere here. But if you go down here, it gives you instructions. There's all these patches. I don't know what version I have. I don't even know where to check in Chrome to see where my versions are for my plugins. Is there a manage extensions, visit Chrome Web Store. This might be an extension, but I'm not going to play with that online. But let's see what it says here. Are there instructions here? Add the overlay window as a browser source to OBS. Other software, change the size of the comment display to fit more text. That would be like 1920 by 1080 if that's what you're streaming, high def. Change the background color of the author's name and icon. So yeah, that's one of the settings. Choose between showing the commenter's full name or only their first name. Configure a list of highlight words, auto hide messages after a set length of time, so you can even have them auto hide. So again, thank you, Akil, for that super chat, for your technology. Get chat on the air there. Once again, the green is being keyed out, so I apologize for that, but thank you so much, Akil, for that super chat. I will spend it well. I need to buy 3 more in-ears. I still need to buy Playout B, the new version, and put it on my Raspberry Pi, so I can show you guys how you can use this Raspberry Pi as a playback device. The weird thing about that is there's lots of different programs now available to load on your PC or your Mac to play videos. So there's actually a Playout B version that loads on the Mac or Windows. So you can just full screen your Mac screen or full screen your PC screen and then play slideshows or play back videos. You can automate your Playout B with the software control in the ATEM. And so we'll take a night to re-up this puppy right here. This is just my case that I purchased. Airgon case, I believe, is the name. Airgon 1, the M.2 case. So there's actually an M.2 chip in the lower section. And you use this little USB bridge. Not this one. This is my gaming keyboard and mouse. But this little bridge right here is what you use to bridge the top part of the box. The bottom part of the box is just a USB 3.0 to 3.0 bridge. And that's how you get the M2 chip to boot. But I don't have the iOS on, or whatever it's called, the Raspberry Pi software. I don't have it on the M2. I have it on the SD card inside of here. So there's an SD card on the board, and then I have an M2 chip in here. I was going to use the M2 chip just to put video files on. And again, it just was really buggy, the Playout B version 1. So I quit using it. And so that Raspberry Pi in the case I will reuse. I could also put my Stream Deck. There's a Stream Deck version for Raspberry Pi, so I could put my Stream Deck on here, or Stream Decks on here. I don't know if it runs 1 or 2. I've never used it. But again, thank you so much, Akil, for that super chat. Let's go back on the SM7B microphone here. So again, thank you for that. Grish says, Aaron Parecki expecting key and fill versus green screening it out. Yeah, I really think when you do Aaron Parecki's plugin, you have to change the background color to transparent. So I don't think, I'm not using H2R graphics. I'm using Aaron Parecki's plugin on my PC. I need to probably offload it and then upload the newest version from Chrome and see if that bug has been fixed, because it doesn't automatically update, I think. Maybe it does. Maybe if you guys know in the chat, if Chrome, if they write a new update to it, does it automatically update? Because I know you're using it as a web browser. So I copy that link from the pop-out chat into OBS, and then OBS I use to overlay that information. So I just turn OBS on and off the air. I have it masked so it's only on the bottom of the screen. And I really believe the background is transparent. So it shows all the other chats, like all these other chats I bring up, they show fine with a black background. But as soon as I show it with a super chat green background, it doesn't display. So go figure. Okay. Any questions about the NSB 16.8 box or the INEAR 16M? Again, with 16 channels, I wanted to talk about this a bit while I wait to see if any other questions come in. With only 16 channels available, you could do a drum mix in Mix 1. Now, here's the cool thing. So listen to this. Let's show you this real quick. See if I can make it work here. So they have an app called QMix. So let's say that I was going to do, so you have these auxiliaries and you can mix the auxiliary that you send to channel 1 on the in-ear mix. You can put anything you want in it. If you have 32 channels, like let's say you have 2 handheld microphones, you got 5 to 8 mics on the drummer. You have 2 keyboards. You have 2 electric guitar players, or maybe an electric guitar and acoustic. The electric guitar is stereo. The keyboard is stereo. You have all these channels filled up. You had 32 channels. You can't send all 32 to the in-ear mix. You can only send 16. So that's why you send your auxes, because each aux could have 32 channels assigned to it, but you can't raise and lower the volume independently. So let's just do it this way. Let's send a mono mix to the drummer through Mix 1 on his in-ear mix, but then how does he change the volumes on the mix that's on my console? You assign that mix to this app, and it's called QMix. You find it here. And so I'm not gonna completely fire it up, but there is the console. So I hit StudioLive 32C. There it is. Let me put that in front of my face so the camera will focus. So I'll click on that. And if I turn it sideways, it gives you that warning, no permissions set for the device. So let's pretend this is my drummer. I can give him permission to access mix 1. He could have this right next to his EarMix 16M. He could have this right next to it and be able to control his drum volume in the mix. I don't care, because he's controlling his mix on the stage. Now, it'll affect everybody else hearing that mix on the stage, but instead of him just being able to bring the volume up and down using his 16M channel 1 mono, he can use his EarMix on his iPhone wirelessly to adjust his whole 8-channel drum mix. I could do the same thing for a keyboard player. If a keyboard player had 3 different keyboards, or I had 3 different keyboard players or 2 guitar players, one guitar player could have his mix, like a stereo mix. Really, it only applies to like the drummer and a keyboard player that might be controlling 3 different keyboards. So anyway, you could give them control of that mix, and then using his phone or his iPad, he could adjust the levels of each drum, raise the snare up, raise the snare down, and then once he gets that set on his phone, then he can just reach over on his EarMix and raise and lower the drum volume. He could mute it if he wanted to. Why would he mute it? Someone else might mute it. So you can mute channels, you can group channels. It's really, really, really a powerful device, and we're going to look at it again before we go tonight, and we're going to group some channels and do a couple things. Good to have you in the chat tonight, Jay. Haven't set up my stream, but I'm going to be live at 9 p.m. So Jay is going to be live. My church, we use the Yamaha app to allow every musician to control their own in-ear feeds. Yeah. So Jay at his church, they have an app that they can control that. Now, I could just give every artist their mix, and they can control it from this app. But in reality, you turn it one side, it's got a volume up and down, and you turn it the sideways, it gives you all those channels, and you can scroll right or left. I just haven't given this phone permission yet. And you do that in the settings of the console, and we'll do that on another stream in the future. I'm going to demo it in a video I'm going to be uploading in the next couple weeks. So again, pretty cool. So Jay's experienced it, and a lot of people that I know who are sound techs end up working, maybe if they do attend a church or they're part of a club, like an Eagles club, they find themselves running sound. I know some people that wait tables, and they also get paid to do live sound in concerts when their local restaurant venue has a band. Might be twice a month, 4 times a month. There is a local venue that has bands every weekend. They have a designated audio technician that does all of the stage at their venue, but there are people that do volunteer at churches mixing sound. There's people that play instruments that volunteer. There's band members that volunteer, but it's really cool. So I know some artists that have a 16-channel PreSonus board, and they use it for their live events. They take their own sound system, they take their own speakers, and they will use in-ear mixes at their live events. I have a good friend of mine named Fraser, and his good buddy plays guitar. They travel and do a lot of music here locally. And he is using a 16-channel PreSonus board. And he's using some QSC speakers I sold him from my old studio. And he purchased a sub, and they sound amazing when they play. He's an incredible keyboard player. Maybe we'll be able to get Fraser here someday on the channel to play a little keys for you all. So we use scene files so that every song has a different setup, and the musicians change their mix depending on what and who's singing. Yeah, so to have control of your mix on the stage is important. The way I've been doing these events now is I'm back there having to try to mix the different monitors on the stage, where now with the in-ear mix, I could have the artists or the lead singer mixed the front monitors on the stage using an in-ear mix for all the 3 vocalists. And I could have them come through the in-ear mix onto the stage. Probably won't do that. I'll probably just let them only mix their in-ears and not affect the stage. I'm still going to have a couple of monitors on the stage for the speakers, for talking to everybody up there when they have their ears out. You still want to have speakers on the stage at live events. They don't have to be on while the music's playing. They could be on during the break to play music on the stage. But it's always good to have monitors. I have 4 currently, 12-inch monitors. There's 2 of them behind me. I have 4 of these, and eventually I want to have 5. And there's some events that people don't have experience using in-ears, so they will want to have floor wedges. So again, there's lots of different scenarios. I want to have at least 5, maybe 6 in-ears, so 16Ms by PreSonus, so that I can use those. There are some limits. I think 5 is the maximum unless you get a new console, but I'm still learning. So I definitely do not have all the answers of the StudioLive stuff again. So let's go back over here and fire up this camera. And let's see, I don't really have, I guess I can use camera 3 here. So let me make let's do this live. Let me make a super source with me on a different camera. So let me go into the control software here, and we are going to change, let's see, what am I doing here? Super source, going to go box 2. We're going to change that to my desktop. And then we're going to change box 1 to a different camera angle. Let's do that one. And let's change the lighting to 3. And then I'm going to show you guys the side of my head this time. So here we go. Back on the wireless Go 2 microphone. Let's take my drink with me. See what we look like. You got the side of my head. Okay. But I can turn around and talk on the camera, and it looks like my audio is still 5x5. So, okay. So I just wanted to talk real quickly. Let's go into a mix. So let's go into mix 1. Okay. So I'm in mix 1. I'm on channel 17, so you can bank over. Here's 1 through 16. Here's 17 through 32. And then over here you have the effects A, B, C, and D. There's 4 effects banks. They're all muted right there right now. So you could bring those effects up if you wanted them. I have an auxiliary 1, auxiliary 2, my tape input. So what I wanted to do right now is I'm going to bring my phone playing one of my YouTube videos so I don't get flagged. So I have my adapter here that's plugged into my tape input. So this is a 3-way adapter. So I have 3.5 stereo, Lightning, and USB-C. Mine's an iPhone 13, so it is the Lightning port. So then I'm going to go into YouTube. I am going to go to my channel. And let's just go to like Manfrotto Autopole. And that is playing. Bring my volume up. So now if we go over here and push tape, I should have audio. I'm just looking here to see why I don't. Main mix. Let's go to tape. Select. I have no audio coming into tape. Because I'm in the out. let's wire this correctly. As a one-legged man. And now I have audio coming in. You can see the levels right here. I think you guys can see this. Let me double check. Is that camera wide enough? Let's go a little wider with that camera. Oh. So again, here's your levels for tape in. So I don't need these effects up. I'm not going to bring the volume up because I only want it to go, I don't want it to go in these monitors because they're live. That's my music. So you guys can hear that. This microphone is live. That's going to probably carry some echo. Let's go back to the mains. I want to keep that live. So this is volume's down, but we're going to go to mix 1 and we're going to bring that volume up. Then I'm going to, in mix 1 now, I've assigned it to channel 1. Okay. So now I have two things coming through channel 1. So we're going to take that out of channel 1. We're going to go over to mix 2 and we're going to bring it up to mix 2. So now if I go into channel 1 right here and I talk in the mic, you can see I have audio levels. If I go to channel 2, I have audio levels as well, and that is the music coming in. So now I have music coming in, so I can mute mic 1. Let's go back to the main mix. Come all the way over here to mic 1. Let's mute it. And if I come all the way over here, you can see that I also have tape 1 volume all the way down, but inside the aux2, I have tape up. And because I have tape up, it's actually coming into channel 2 right here in the INEAR mix. Is coming in up here as well. Channel 1 is now muted. But if I can unmute channel 1, unmute it. Now you see I have audio coming through. But I do not have the music routed into the studio. I'm just showing you that there is a signal coming through both of these mixes. It's right there, and I can raise up the level to the of this. So again, so like a drum mix. So let's say I didn't want to do channel 1. Let's pretend these are drum mics. I could mix these drum mics into mix 1. Actually, let's do mix 1. That was mix. What was that? So mix 1, we're going to pretend that these are all drum mics and unmute them. So now that's all going to mix 1. And so now the artist would be able to bring the drums up and down using channel 1. And if I wanted to give them a stereo feed, I could do link. Now 1 and 2 are linked, and on this PreSonus, channel 1 is panned left, and channel 2 is panned right. So if I click on 2, it's panned right. Click on 1, it's panned left, because I've linked them. So I could link channel 3 and 4 as well by hitting channel 3, hit link. Now they're both lit up. Unlink them. Unlink these. So let's say I wanted to group. So now I can group 2, 3, 4, and 5. The group, so 3, 4, and 5 are grouped. So I could bring the volume up of all those channels now because they're grouped. If I want to see the groups, there you go. These are all grouped. So I'm going to hit them again, so that they're not grouped. And now I'm going to turn group off. And so I can highlight any channel and I can group those. Again, if I plug my phones in, I have headphones here somewhere. Take them out of the board and plug these headphones into the INEAR mix. We'll do this one right here. got my video playing, and I got that playing in my ears. So I can assign whatever I want. Multiple channels. Multiple channels to one mix, or individual channels. So I could go through mix 1 through 16 and hit mix 1, bring up channel 1, mix 2, bring up channel 2, mix 3, bring up channel 3, mix 4, bring up channel 4, and assign it that way, so that then they could control the volume of all of those channels. Or I could send some stereo mixes, and then they could go up and link those channels and be able to control stereo volume. So just because they only have 16 channels on the stage doesn't mean that I can't create some mixes for the drummer and then give them access to them on their app, on their phone. And then if they want to bring the drum volume up or down, they could use the INEAR mix channel. But if they want to change the mix of the whole set, they could do that on their iPhone. So I love having the ability to bring in remote audio through the tape input on the back. I could also use the auxiliary in if I wanted to, but there's just lots of things that I can do now using the network. And so we've been like, if you go over to Jay's channel tonight, or Tony, Quick Tech Solutions, TVJ, they talk about networking. They talk about sending video through the network. So I'm dealing with audio through the network with my PreSonus gear. So you can now send video through the network. You can do that now with the new streaming bridges. Now they have the new decoders. So video decoder and encoders that Blackmagic Design makes. So the sky's the limit. So I do want to show you guys this network adapter before we go tonight. So let's go to see if I can get it to pop up first try here. So here is the cost of the 16.8. You could pay $800, $900. It's usually on sale for $799. I bought my new one used. I think I only paid like $450 for it used. It already had a $100 mounting kit, rack mounting kit already on it. That's why I bought it from Guitar Center. They didn't send it to me with a power cable. They didn't send Guitar Center didn't send the Mix 16M to me. My second one with a power cable, I had to buy it separate. It cost me almost $40. So I'm still working with them, asking them why they didn't get a power cable for either device. I have a locking power cable coming for my NSB 16.8. I just used one of my other cables that I have from my monitors, but I want the locking cable, so that's on order. It should be here tomorrow. But again, that's not inexpensive. So here is a network device. I don't know if there's, can I just click on it? Come on, be on the list here. Nope. But it is pictured right here. There's a used one of these that I'm looking at reverb.com. No, at Guitar Center. I've asked to make sure that the power cable's with it. I'm waiting for an answer back, but there is a used one of these. They're about $4.99. I think I'm going to be able to pick up a used one of those. We'll see. But they come available all the time on Guitar Center and reverb.com. But again, this is what I purchased with the rack ears already on it. So that will be rack mounted in a box on the left side of the stage. My other one I already have will be rack mounted on the right hand side of the stage. But you can have one input and 4 outputs. So you could have 4 in-ears attached to this. You can send power over Ethernet. That's why I really want this device. So at least 4 of my in-ears in the front part of the house on the stage will be powered through Ethernet. And then maybe the bass player and the drummer will be plugged in with power. But it's nice that you can send those through that network cable and be able to network it that way. But you can see they have a 32-channel digital snake. They actually have a digital 32 rack mountable StudioLive 32SC. So you can rack mount it and use the iPad. By the way, I have the ability on the iPad Pro to control the 32SC console right there. So I can control everything. I can even hook up the 16Ms. I can mix. I could go up on stage and program all those in-ears if I wanted to. I could walk up on stage and mix my monitors. So I love the fact that you can network this. Now I'm using my wireless network in my house. When I go to a live event, I create a wireless network that only I have access to. It's not a wireless network I'm using for the internet. I'll live stream through a separate mobile device eventually, but the audio control of this and the band's iPads or iPhones that they're using the app for, I think it's available for Android and iOS. They will be able to use that secret wireless network. And then again, I can go in here and set scenes, projects. I can also interface all 32 channels into a laptop using software by PreSonus, and just simply open up that software and record all 32 tracks plus the stereo track. And all I have to do is just hit record. So you just have to have the PreSonus 32SC hooked up through USB to your laptop, open up the app, and then you can go for it. I could also use the effects in Studio One on my console. So if I wanted to use some of my high-end effects that I've had since I had my studio, I could plug in my little USB thumb drive that has the licenses on it, and then open up those effects, and I could use a wave plug-in in a live event if I wanted to. Just be aware there's going to be latency if you do that, but if you only add a couple effects, one USB cable can more than handle it. So you can communicate from the console to a laptop, from the laptop to the console. I could play a click track through StudioLive into a live event and assign it to one of those 16 inputs. I have this set to timeout. So again, having all of this control, in fact, the bracket that I bought, tap this goes right here. So when I'm at a live event, I could have the EQ opened up on the iPad. I could have the auxes open up on the iPad. Again, I could use the iPad as a separate screen. So it just gives me a lot more control, and I can pick that up and take off through the venue. If I need to go out and grab a burger, I can take that thing with me and have it in case there's feedback. So if I left the console, I can take the console control with me. I could mute a channel if all of a sudden things get out of control. So the INEAR EarMix 16M is a great tool, networkable through the AVB network. And again, now I have 2 digital snakes, so I have 32 inputs, and they're either 1/4 inch balanced or XLR. And I have all of those outputs, 8 outputs on both sides. So 32 channels split in half, and 16 auxes on the stage split in half. Now, again, I have those auxes up there, but if I'm using in-ears, I'll probably only be using those auxiliary outs for my monitors. So I might use 2 for subs and 2 for the mains. And if I have more than one set of speakers on the stage, I may even have another set of auxes used, auxiliary mixes used for other speakers. But there's delay built into the board. There's so many things that you can do with the PreSonus StudioLive board. I'm pretty stoked. So if you're not into audio, I apologize for tonight. But if you are into audio or if you're watching this later, please subscribe to the channel. I will be doing more videos on the NSB 16.8 stage box, on the EarMix 16M, on the 32SC console, on the new network router or a switch once I get it. Forget what that's called, but that's going to be a purchase here really soon. And for those of you that are really excited, eventually I'm going to have the new HyperDeck in the studio, as well as the new G2, Lord willing, we will see. So, okay, back to the chat on the air here. Off the air, let's fix this camera. Chat on the air. Okay, talked about that. Last time I ran sound, we had 4 singers, 3 guitarists, 1 key, 1 drummer, and 2 stage mics. So how many mics on the drums, Jay? And was the keyboard player stereo? And was either one of your 3 guitarists, did you do stereo lead guitar? Because I've been doing some stereo lead guitar at some of these events as well. I do keys stereo a lot of times. A lot of times they'll have pads that they'll play from a laptop on the stage during the breaks or right before they go live or during the rehearsal. So I'll have to have 2 channels on the Stage Snake assigned to their pads. And then I'll be running their pad stereo back to their INEAR Mix 16 or 16M. So let me know. All of them use in-ear monitors. Cool. Chris says your head covers what you're showing, but I get the gist. Yeah, I apologize if I'm blocking you guys with my head on the PreSonus board. If I had 2 working legs, I did go to the doctor today, an update on my leg. Let me read this first. Yeah. I went to the doctor today. I still have a section of stitches that haven't healed, so I'm behind schedule on my recovery. We have scheduled therapy for my leg. I'm supposed to start when I can put my boot on. I'm supposed to be able to start putting 25% of my weight back on my foot. That'll be interesting. I'm not wearing my boot right now because it rubs against the stitches. So the doctor was a little irritated at me today. But every time I put that boot on, it aggravates the stitches. I want those stitches to heal. But I also want to sneak my boot on a couple times a day with extra padding on the stitch side and do a little bit of weight on it. So my crutches with 25% weight this week, possibly ability of 50% the next 2 weeks after that. So hopefully 6 weeks from now, I will be fully walking again. Thank you, David, from Down Under. Before we kick the bucket, yeah, I am getting a really good audio kit put together. It's been slow, but sure, lots of money invested. So I do get paid some, probably take a couple, 2, 3, 4 years before I'm going to recoup the cost if I only do these tent events. I did have an event in May I had to say no to that would have paid really well. For my company. So it's not all volunteer work. So I'll do events. So for a 2-day event, if I'm in charge of all the gear and it's a full size band, you know, it's going to be a couple $1,000 for them to have me come. So as I add other equipment like trusses and things like that, it'll be even more. So if they need lighting or if they want live streaming, I will then hire someone to go with me and I would be charging them for live streaming. Currently, I'm not doing any live streaming. I'll do recording on my A10 Mini Pro just for posterity's sake for my buddy. But we do not live stream. I just record on one of my webcams the event. But if I ever do live production, I will be charging appropriately for that. Okay. I had 15 drum mics when I mixed the official Dave Matthews tribute band last September. Man, so that's lots of pressure. 15 drum mics. So let's walk through that. So kick, might have had a double kick, maybe a double pedal. You might have had one of those Audio Technica microphones that have a condenser and a dynamic mic built into it. That takes 2 channels for the kick. You might have had a lower mic on the snare and an upper mic. That takes up 2 channels. If you had 4 toms, that's 4 more. Now we're up to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you had 2 overheads, that's 9, 10. If you had them on the hi-hat, that's 11. You had 15. So I would love to see the list. That's a lot of microphones. So, and Joe has a SL. What's the console you have? It's 32 channels, but I can't think. It's the one that I really wanted to get as well. It's about $3,000. I saw recently that you can pick up the StudioLive 32SC. I saw a sale on it for $12.99. Normally the best deal you can get on it is $15.99. I paid $2,000. So a little disappointed that I didn't get it on sale, but you know how that goes. So Joe, let us know how many microphones or what you had on that. That's a long list. That's going to take you a while to type out. So, okay. Double kick, correct. Double snare, correct. The remaining other mics, other than you mentioned, were from some random percussion like chimes. Okay. Did the drummer have a click track? So, oh yeah, and he has the SQ5, which is 48 channels. Yeah. So I only have 32. Joe has 48. And again, he got a deal on that board, if I remember right, because he bought a bunch of gear. But it retails, right, Joe, for right around, you guys can look it up, the SQ5, for right around, let's look it up, $3,200, I think, is retail. Allen and Heath. SQ5. And Allen and Heath are amazing boards. I have a friend that has their 16 channel console. Yeah, $4,000. So $2,000 compared to $4,000. Let's bring this up. I'll just show you guys Sweetwater. Again, this is not a sponsored video, but there you go. It's a beautiful console. So Joe says he has 48 channels. That means that he has 3 banks. So where I bank over from the first 16 to the second 16, he banks over again, and then he has probably 2 more banks of other things. How many aux mixes do you have, Joe? Pretty incredible board. Well, let's look at the back. I'll not leave you hanging. Here's the back of his console. So you can see he only has 16 on the back of it and a talk back. So he definitely has to use this Dante right here. I think you pay extra for Dante for that board. If I remember right, you can get it without the Dante adapter or with it, which is kind of crazy. But $3,900 with the Dante adapter. Here's the profile of his board. Basically, it's pretty much the same size as my board, just has a whole nother digital bank inside of it. So here we go, some more Joe talk here. No click track, but all the instruments had in-ears. Retail is 4K, that's right. He purchased it for $3,200, $800 off is a great deal. He used 40 channels for the show, so he had 8 left. 8 mics on the drum, Jay said, when he did his event. So that's typical. When I was recording drums in my studio, we had 8. 2 of them were coming from my kick mic. It's like a $400 or $500 Audio Technica, I believe, or Sennheiser dynamic and condenser microphone built in. So you get 2 different really cool sounds that you can EQ. It's amazing sounding. So Good news is band travels with all their own mics. That is great news. Stereo keys, yes. J, yes. I mostly use the Yamaha DM3 now for corporate work. So, and the DM3 is a great one. I also looked at that. You really guys are getting a dose of audio. Again, this is not sponsored by Sweetwater, but there you go. So there is the Yamaha DM3. It's a 22 channel mixer. Here's the back of that. Very similar to the back of his other one, except for he had 16 channels. Kind of hard to read those. But let's see, 1 through 8 through 16. Yeah, so he has 16 inputs. And then over here, it looks like he has 8 outputs. Dante and a DC input. Interesting cable there for that. That's proprietary. So anyway. So he's got the ability to network, a USB interface right here. Here's your network. That's just the network. This is your USB interface. You use it as a communication between your computer and it as a device. So you could record into Pro Tools. You could do a live band sound check. So you could record the band the night before, and then when you get there the next day, you could play it back and then use it to tweak some things in the house. Dial in the EQ and all that stuff, which is great that you can do a virtual sound check. Here you have input for Dante. It looks like he has a primary and a secondary. That's pretty cool on the DM3 board, and then the DC input. So let's go back to the other board. I don't know what happened here. And let's look at the back of his board, other board. So I don't see a secondary. That's cool. That smaller board, Joe, has a secondary Dante out. So you could have it going to 2 different venues, like 2 different rooms at a conference. That's pretty cool. So maybe one day I will be updating to that device. We'll see. So again, that's all I have, guys, tonight. It has been 2 hours almost. I apologize that some of you guys could not see what I was doing behind me. But again, I'm pretty excited about this setup. Pop myself in here in a let's use key number 2, DVE. Turn that on the air. So pretty excited about this setup. I'll put myself up here. Again, being able to send 16 channels from the stage back to my board using a 1 Ethercon cable. Being able to put up to 5 in-ears up on the stage. 4 of them will be power over Ethernet once I get the switch. 1 of them will be plugged in. I may need to figure out how to do more. I have 4 of those monitors. I'm using 2 of them tonight for my mains here in the studio. I have 2 more in the garage, and then I have 2 15-inch Yamaha speakers. They are powered, and then I have 1 18-inch sub. My buddy has 2 double 18 JBLs powered, and a spare one that he bought recently. So we're going to use those subs as well at these events. So we'll have my sub in the middle, 18-inch, and we'll have 2 18s on the sides. And then we'll fill with our 15-inch subs, which is a Behringer system. And then we'll also fill with 2 15-inch, I think they're 15-inch or 12-inch Behringer powered monitors. And then eventually I'm going to be buying 2 more 15s for big events so that I can then pan them out. So I can use the Behringers for other events, other tents, other places at these events. And then again, I love that I can just send an 8.8 channel snake into another tent and be able to use it. And then an in-ear over there to use as a board. So cool. Well, so that's all I have for you guys tonight. We've unboxed, again, the 16M. Comes with the little 16-channel in-ear mixer with the ability to send out 2 mains, the ability to insert music or a click. Plenty of preamp to power your any type of in-ears, and even raise the volume too high for those of you that have become deaf playing in large venues. For those people that are listening that are band members and your ears are starting to go, plenty of volume for that. The mounts are sold separate. You get a cat cable and a power cord and some little rubber feet inside the box, including the instructions and the warning stuff. So you should be able to hook it up, set it on your desk, power it up, plug it in, and test it. If you have a PreSonus StudioLive 3 console of some type, and then you can daisy chain more in ears if you want to, because there's a AVB input and AVB output. So that will be really cool. And you can power it over Ethernet. So you got to get a switch from PreSonus that has PoE built into it, which is, again, power over Ethernet. Then you don't have to use the little power adapter. So I have 2 of those, as you can see on the desk. Hopefully very soon I will have 3 more, which will be 5. So it cost me probably about another $1,000 to buy them used. So I just look for used, excellent condition ones from either reverb.com or Guitar Center. Keep in mind, Guitar Center sent me mine without a power cable. Also sent my used 16.8 NSB stage box that I just purchased without a power cord. So keep that in mind when you order stuff, to ask those questions. And again, very soon we'll have Christopher on the channel with his Helix. Let's show you his Helix for those of you that are into guitar. Sorry, it's not a Helix. I apologize. It is a Fractal. Sorry, I did so much research with my son. You can get this to come up. I got fat fingers tonight. So this is what my son bought. It's this Fractal, the F9 MK2 Turbo, and you guys can do your own research. This thing is crazy, and we'll have a live stream where part of it will be Christopher here in the studio. So you guys can check out the Fractal audio system FM9. Check that out. So not only is it got lots and lots of amp modeling, lots and lots of microphone, all the effects, and everybody that does reviews on it, like 90% of them say it's the best amp modeling, the best effects modeling that there is available out there. They're not inexpensive. It retails for about $2,700, I think. If you want more buttons, they have extra boards and expression pedals that can plug into it. Here are the foot switches that you can add And they also have a rack-mounted version. So this is the rack mount. Oh, what am I doing? I'm not showing you guys this. That's the rack-mounted version. Here's the expression pedals. And here are the additional foot switches that you can add. So you can add this 6-1, you can add this one. And what that does, it just lets you pre-program all of those switches so you can make all those changes when you're live. You're a guitar player. Every one of those buttons could be a different effect. So one could be for the verse, one could be for the chorus. And then those different buttons have a number of different things you can tap on those. So you can assign one button just for tapping your delay. And again, if you want to do some special effects, you can also MIDI control this. So you literally could have someone controlling this from the main back of stage for you, like your producer or guitar guy. He could be controlling this as well. So the rack mounted one is pretty cool. So let's get back here in the chat. Chat on the air. Joe says, my FOH speakers for that show were JBL SRX 910 LA line arrays, 8 of them. Wow, you really have gone all in. 2 subs. Are the subs, could have used 4 subs. Are the subs 18s? Are they double 18s? Like I talked about that we have now. So 2 18s in the same cabinet. We have 3 of them. 1 is for parts and 2 of them are working. Again, we bought them from a local church that was updating all of their stuff. And so we got a great deal on those. Again, they're used, but they have been repaired and worked. And then there is a parts one that they picked up just to pull out parts. So some of the parts are still good in there. Some of them are missing. So I think the amp's been pulled already. So the biggest thing with audio is setup. Once everything is working, mixing by is fun. Yeah, mixing is fun. Dante, secondary is for a backup redundancy, not for a separate output. Okay, so you could have 2 cables going forward and 1 is, so if someone clips that cord or cuts that cable, you have a backup, or one of your cat cables or Dante's fail, you have a fail safe. It's interesting that it's in the smaller one and not in the bigger one. We use a Yamaha CL3 at church. Cool. Chris says, save your ears for the retirement. Yes. Joe says he is in retirement, Grish. I don't have those speakers. Single 18s would have liked to have doubles. Yeah, well, I bought my one Yamaha 18. I think it retails for $2,000. I think I bought it during the Yamaha sale. They have it twice a year now, I see. I think you save $400 or $399 on that sub. So at some point, I got to pull a trigger on the other one. I won't always have access to those 2 JBL speakers. At the tents I do, because the guy I do the tents with has those JBL speakers, and he has the Behringer set. So he's got 3 or 4 sound systems. Most of it's been donated to him because these are nonprofit events. The only reason some of the things are paid is I have to live out there morning and night a lot. And eventually I'm going to be eating and sleeping out there and in an RV. And I love these events. I love outdoor events. I've done and spoke at some tent events when I was younger. Now I'm kind of anchoring that. And so even investing some of my own money in some of the systems out there. So again, I don't want to swing a hammer to pound steaks. So you guys may even see an unboxing of a gas hammer for pounding tent steaks on this channel. Who knows? But may see it at the tent. But I will be doing a unboxing of, if I buy that device, I definitely will be unboxing that. If you like tents or hammering tent steaks or whatever, I'm going to put that on my channel because it's my channel and you have a right to watch it or not watch it. So if you haven't hit like tonight, please do. To be clear, I don't own those line array speakers. Wow. Okay. They are like $50K. Yeah. I mean, if you have all the money in the world, right, Joe, you can buy any kind of sound system you want. I could right now move into a building that would seat about 350, 400 people with my gear. I don't have a ton of microphones, but I could probably move into a venue and do some concerts starting tomorrow with the lights I have access to. I even have some lights waiting for me to pick up that have been donated. They're not digital. They're all older hot lights. So until I get my own digital lights, I own some, but I donated them years ago to a concert venue I was helping in here in the Tri-Cities. So some of them I sold, some of them I donated. But again, I spent some years supporting local artists because the music in this area is growing. My son was an artist and was in a band. And so having places for them to play, having a recording studio in my house, I did some paid work, volunteer work in my recording studio. My recording studio was literally a nonprofit. So, a lot of the money that we received was just to maintain gear. So anybody who used it, producers who we were training, interning in my studio, I had artists, interns. They all paid a intern fee or a producer fee to use the studio, and then they could record their own music in my studio. As long as I could keep the gear working and keep the lights on, then they had access to that studio. I have since then sold that house and that studio. So great stream. Let's chat soon. Yeah, I would love to talk to you, Joe, about what you and I have in common when it comes to live sound, because I know that's something you're passionate in. Well, guys, it's been over 2 hours. Let's call it a night. Thank you so much for joining me live. Thank you so much for the super chats tonight. So I appreciate that so much. Going back up there, I know one was Tony, and they don't stay. Yeah, there they are. Tony, $4.99. I appreciate that. And Akil, $5.99. And I appreciate that so much. That's not Akil's real name. I apologize for that. It's Toto or Toto, Toddo. So from Germany, thank you so much for that super chat. Go over and check out Quick Tech Solutions channel and subscribe to it if you haven't already. Lots of IT stuff. Tony just did a video today on what's changing with Synology NASs, or what they might change with hard drives. So if you want to know more about that, go over and check out his video. Jay is going to be live here any minute. So go over and check out TVJ's channel. Go over and visit Akil, and if he's got any videos up, make a comment there on his videos. Tell him what an amazing guy he is, or individual he is. $5.99. I appreciate that. Germany, I don't know what that translate into U.S. funds. And so lots of chat tonight. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Gary, thank you. We are live each Tuesday. I'm going to be uploading some videos as I can get around the studio. I actually had to have my daughter help me. My wife helped me move all this gear in from the garage. I'm literally tooling around the house on a scooter with my knee on the seat and my left leg, pushing myself around. I use my crutches once in a while. So hopefully I'll be back on my feet before all these events start this summer. But until next time, I am Keith. This is Life Journey Production Studios. I hope to see you all in the next video. And please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And if you enjoy the audio stuff, please put that in the comments. If you want to hear more, or if you have a question about any of these devices, please put that in the comments below. I will be happy to answer those questions. So have a great week.